Okay, so we're diving into this whole DeepSeek R1 thing. Um, you sent over a whole bunch of articles, and it seems like everyone's kind of freaking out about this new AI
Yeah.
coming out of China.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz around it.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to see how this is going beyond just like
Like,
a typical tech release.
Right.
People are saying this is like AI's Sputnik moment for the US.
Yeah, I saw that phrase thrown around a lot, and I wasn't sure what they meant.
Yeah, so it's like a wake-up call, basically.
Okay.
This DeepSeek R1 is being compared to ChatGPT,
Right.
but it's supposed to be way cheaper to run.
Okay.
And it's open source, which is a big deal.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
And we're already seeing some like serious consequences, like Nvidia's stock price is taking a huge hit.
Wow.
So this is like potential market disruption on a global scale.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get into all the drama and the controversy surrounding it,
Yeah.
let's just like break down what DeepSeek R1 actually is.
Okay.
What are we even talking about here?
So at its core, DeepSeek R1 is a text-based AI model.
Okay.
Similar to ChatGPT in a lot of ways.
Oh.
It can, write different kinds of creative text formats, answer your questions, provide summaries. It can even handle coding and some scientific tasks.
Okay, so pretty much the same kind of stuff that we see ChatGPT doing.
Exactly. It's just that DeepSeek is saying that they built it for a fraction of the cost.
Okay, so that's the big difference.
That's the big difference.
Okay.
That's what's got everyone on edge.
That's what's making investors sweat.
Exactly.
So how is that even possible? Like, how did they manage to build this thing so cheaply? Is it just like really clever engineering, or is there like something else going on here?
That's where it gets kind of interesting.
Okay.
So DeepSeek R1 is built on what's called a mixture of experts architecture.
Okay. I have no idea what that means.
So basically, instead of having one giant neural network that tries to do everything, they've got smaller specialized networks working together.
Oh, okay.
And this can be way more efficient, both in terms of training the model and actually running it.
So instead of having one giant brain, it's more like a team of specialists.
Exactly. Yeah, like a team of specialists all working together.
Okay. That makes sense.
Right.
But how does that actually translate to lower costs?
So it's all about resource allocation.
Okay.
With this mixture of experts approach, you can basically focus your computing power where it's needed most.
Right.
So instead of like brute forcing a single network to learn everything, you can train smaller networks on very specific tasks. And this can significantly reduce the time and the resources needed, especially for specialized applications.
Okay, so we've got this like lean, mean AI machine.
Yeah.
And then just to add fuel to the fire, DeepSeek goes and makes R1 open source.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty bold move in a world where companies are like increasingly protective of their AI.
It's a huge move. It means that anyone can access it, modify it, and build upon the R1 model.
Wow. So what are the implications of that?
Well, on the one hand, it could lead to like a ton of collaboration and innovation within the AI community.
Right.
But on the other hand, it also opens up this like Pandora's box of potential misuse.
Right. We'll definitely get into those concerns a little bit later.
Yeah.
But first, let's zoom out and look at the big picture here.
Okay.
What does DeepSeek R1 mean for the future of AI? Is this like a turning point for the industry?
I think it's definitely shaking things up. The cost factor alone is a major disruption.
Right.
If DeepSeek can really deliver comparable performance at a fraction of the price, it could force like a paradigm shift in how AI is developed and used.
Yeah, it's like suddenly discovering a shortcut to building a rocket.
Yeah.
Everyone has a scramble to catch up or risk being left behind.
Exactly.
But what about the open source aspect of it? How does that factor into the future of AI?
Well, open source AI has this potential to really democratize access to these powerful tools.
Okay.
So smaller company startups, even individual researchers could now leverage these sophisticated AI models without needing those massive resources that were previously required.
Yeah.
So this could lead to a huge surge of innovation across all sorts of fields.
It's almost like AI is going from like a luxury item to something that's like readily available.
Exactly.
But that also means we need to be prepared for the consequences.
Oh, absolutely. It's like giving everyone access to a powerful tool without necessarily giving them the instruction manual or the safety guidelines.
Right. There are definitely some ethical and security concerns that we need to address.
Exactly.
So we've laid out what DeepSeek R1 is and how it could potentially reshape the future of AI.
Right.
But it hasn't exactly been a smooth launch, right?
Not at all.
There's been a lot of controversy surrounding this new player in the AI game. So let's unpack some of those concerns surrounding DeepSeek. We've got whispers of stolen data, geopolitical tensions, even concerns about censorship.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah. So let's dive in.
All right. DeepSeek's arrival has really, thrown a wrench into things.
Yeah, it's like shaking up the whole AI landscape.
Yeah, definitely. It's made everyone kind of, reevaluate their assumptions about where AI is headed.
Yeah. And not everyone is thrilled about it.
No.
Let's dive into some of the controversy surrounding DeepSeek. We've got, these whispers of stolen data, geopolitical tensions, even concerns about censorship.
Yeah, those are the big ones.
Yeah, so one of the biggest bombshells is this allegation that DeepSeek might have used OpenAI's data without permission.
Yeah, and this practice is known as distillation.
Distillation.
Yeah, basically it means using the outputs of one AI model to train another.
So it's kind of like DeepSeek peeked at OpenAI's answer sheet before taking the test.
It's a bit more nuanced than that. It involves using the output of a model, like the text that ChatGPT generates, as training data for another model. So it's a way to potentially shortcut the training process and leverage the knowledge that's already embedded in an existing AI.
Got it. But wouldn't that be a violation of OpenAI's terms of service?
Oh, absolutely. OpenAI's terms very clearly forbid using their outputs to develop competing models. They're arguing that DeepSeek basically piggybacked on their hard work and their investment.
But here's where it gets interesting and maybe a little ironic. OpenAI itself has faced lawsuits alleging that they used copyrighted material without permission to train their models.
The irony is not lost on anyone.
It's like the tables have turned.
Totally. OpenAI, who was once accused of scraping data from the internet without proper consent, now finds themselves on the receiving end of similar accusations.
It really highlights this whole debate about data ownership and intellectual property in this age of AI.
Exactly. A debate that's only going to get more intense as this technology keeps evolving.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got this whole legal battle brewing, but even if we set that aside for a second, there are these broader concerns about DeepSeek's ties to the Chinese government.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And this is where the geopolitical dimension of AI becomes impossible to ignore.
DeepSeek is operating in China's very tightly controlled internet environment where censorship is just commonplace.
And we've seen evidence of this with DeepSeek R1 itself, Certain topics, especially those that are critical of the Chinese government, are just off limits.
Exactly. There are reports that DeepSeek R1 just avoids answering questions about sensitive political issues.
Like what kind of issues?
Like the Tiananmen Square protests or criticisms of Xi Jinping. Anything that could be seen as challenging the authority of the Chinese government.
So it's like this seemingly neutral AI could actually be promoting certain narratives or suppressing certain viewpoints.
Exactly. It's a tool for shaping the conversation.
And that's a little unsettling to think about.
It is. It really highlights how AI could be used for propaganda. Or even control.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just the content that it produces. Users outside of China might be unknowingly giving their personal data to a company that has these close ties to the Chinese government.
Which raises huge questions about data privacy and potential surveillance.
So we're talking about a situation where DeepSeek R1 could be shaping global conversation while operating under a completely different set of rules than we're used to in the West.
Absolutely.
This isn't just a tech story anymore.
No, it's not.
It's a story about power and influence and the potential clash of ideologies in this digital age.
It's a whole new world.
Okay, so we've got these allegations of data theft, geopolitical tensions, potential censorship. It's a lot to process. How has DeepSeek responded to all of this?
They've been pretty quiet, actually.
Really?
Yeah, they maintain that they developed R1 independently and that they haven't violated any terms of service. But their lack of transparency is just making people more suspicious.
It's like they're playing this game of chess, making these strategic moves, but keeping their long-term strategy a secret.
Exactly.
But that silence could also backfire.
It could.
Yeah.
People might see it as an attempt to deflect or downplay the accusations.
It definitely creates this air of mistrust.
It does.
And leaves us with a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, a lot of questions.
Did they actually achieve this technological breakthrough at such a low cost? Or are they hiding something?
Yeah.
What are the real intentions in making R1 open source?
Exactly.
These are questions that we need to keep asking as this DeepSeek story unfolds.
As this whole thing plays out.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and look at how the other major players in the AI world are reacting to DeepSeek.
Right.
We already talked about OpenAI's concerns.
Right.
But what about others like Google or Meta or even Elon Musk?
The reactions have been all over the place.
Really?
Yeah, some people see DeepSeek as a serious threat, while others see it as an opportunity.
Interesting.
Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, has actually acknowledged DeepSeek R1 as a legitimate competitor.
That's surprising considering the accusations.
Yeah, it is. It seems like they're trying to take the high road and focus on the potential benefits of competition.
It could also be a strategic move, though, right?
It could be.
By acknowledging DeepSeek as a legitimate player.
Yeah.
OpenAI might be trying to downplay the data theft accusations.
It's a way of saying, we're not afraid of you.
Right.
We're confident in our own abilities.
But not everyone is buying into the DeepSeek hype.
Right.
Elon Musk, who's, known for his own AI ventures with xAI, has expressed some skepticism, particularly about the cost of developing R1.
Right.
Is he just being a contrarian, or is there something to his critique?
Well, Musk has a history of making these bold claims.
Yeah, he does.
So it's always good to take what he says with a grain of salt.
Right.
But in this case, he might have a point.
Okay.
He's suggested that DeepSeek might be using a lot more of Nvidia's chips than they've publicly acknowledged.
That would make sense. If they're downplaying their hardware usage,
it
makes their claims of cost-effectiveness seem a little less impressive.
Exactly. It could just be a marketing tactic to disrupt the industry and gain a foothold.
It's like this classic David versus Goliath story.
Yeah.
But with a modern AI twist.
Totally. DeepSeek, the underdog.
Right.
Challenging the giants, forcing them to adapt.
So we've got this mix of excitement and apprehension surrounding DeepSeek R1. It's a potentially groundbreaking technology, but it also raises all these ethical and geopolitical concerns.
To think about.
Yeah. As we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are some of the key questions that you think we need to be asking about the future of DeepSeek and its impact on the AI landscape? We've been talking about this DeepSeek R1 phenomenon. We talked about the tech behind it, the controversies and the reactions from some of the big players in AI. So now let's look ahead. What does all this mean for the future?
Yeah, I think the DeepSeek story raises some really profound questions about where AI is headed. It's not just about who builds the best model anymore. It's about the economic, the ethical, even the geopolitical implications of this tech.
One of the most immediate things we're seeing is a price war in the AI market.
Right.
DeepSeek's claim that they can develop a powerful model for way cheaper than everyone else.
Yeah.
It's putting a lot of pressure on those established companies.
Definitely. It's a classic disruptor situation.
Right.
If DeepSeek can actually deliver on what they're promising, it could completely change the game. Big companies like OpenAI and Google, who are used to having all these resources, they might have to completely rethink how they do things.
So does this mean we're headed for a race to the bottom?
It's possible.
Where cutting costs becomes the main focus?
Yeah.
And maybe quality and ethical considerations get left behind?
That's a real concern. There's always that risk that when companies are trying to compete, they might cut corners or make compromises.
Yeah.
That could have some bad consequences down the line.
But couldn't this price pressure also drive innovation in some unexpected ways?
It could. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? This pressure from DeepSeek might actually spark a new wave of creativity in AI, leading to models that are not only more powerful, but also more accessible and sustainable.
And that brings us to another big part of this DeepSeek story, the whole democratization of AI.
Right.
Making R1 open source means these powerful AI tools aren't just in the hands of a few companies anymore.
Exactly. It's like opening up the playing field.
Yeah. But that's a double-edged sword, right?
It is. On the one hand, wider access to AI could unlock all kinds of incredible innovation.
I can see that.
Imagine researchers, startups, even individuals being able to use these sophisticated AI models for scientific discoveries, for social good, for creative projects.
It's like giving everyone a new set of tools to solve problems and come up with new ideas.
Exactly.
But there's also that potential for misuse.
No, definitely. Any powerful tech can be used for good or for bad. As AI becomes more widespread, we need to really think about safeguards, ethical guidelines, responsible use.
And we need to be prepared for those unintended consequences.
Absolutely.
As AI gets more integrated into our lives, we have to deal with things like algorithmic bias, job displacement, even the potential for AI-driven misinformation or manipulation.
Right. These are complex issues, and there are no easy answers.
Right.
But the DeepSeek story has brought these things to the forefront.
It has.
It's forcing us to confront them head on.
It's a good reminder that technological progress isn't always a straight line.
Yeah.
It's full of these unexpected twists and turns, ethical dilemmas, even geopolitical power struggles.
Absolutely.
So the DeepSeek saga shows us that AI isn't just a tech race.
Right.
It's this global contest with implications for economies, for politics, even for societal values.
Exactly. It's changing the world as we know it.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into DeepSeek R1, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Okay.
What should they be thinking about as this story continues to unfold?
I think the most important thing is to stay informed. Engage in critical thinking about AI. Don't just take headlines at face value.
Right.
Dig deeper, question your assumptions, and try to consider different perspectives.
It's also crucial to be aware of the potential biases and limitations of these AI systems.
Absolutely. AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used in different ways.
Yep.
It's up to us to make sure it's used responsibly.
And ultimately, the future AI isn't something that's set in stone.
Right.
It's something that we're all shaping through the choices we make, the actions we take, and how we engage with this technology.
Basically, we all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
So keep asking those questions, stay curious, and be active participants in building this AI-powered world. That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Come to you, GPT, your source for the latest in AI-generated content. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. Disclaimer, as an AI-generated content channel, we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information to our viewers. However, please be advised that due to the nature of our content generation process, some of the information we provide may be misleading or incorrect. We strongly encourage our viewers to use our content as a starting point for their own research and to consult with relevant professionals before making any financial or business decisions. We are committed to constantly improving our AI system to ensure the highest quality of information possible, but we cannot guarantee the accuracy or completeness of the information provided. Thank you for your understanding.